Hazing. It's an insidious practice that's perpetuated through cultures of secrecy, and it's far too common. One national study found that over half of college students have experienced hazing in a student organization, and SMU is no exception. Did you ever witness hazing in Kappa Alpha Theta?
Yes, I did experience hazing.
You experienced hazing?
Yes.
Hope Hayden is a former member of Kappa Alpha Theta. She disaffiliated from the organization because of hazing before the university kicked the sorority off campus last year. Hayden agreed to speak out against hazing during her run for student body president.
I think that SMU does have a problem with hazing. It gets normalized in the community.
But just how big is the problem? SMU makes public all student organizations that have violated the code of conduct or completed sanctions for violations within the past 3 years. Currently, there are 16 listed violations. 10 of them are hazing related, and all of them are fraternities or sororities. Here are the names of every group with one or more listed violations. It's impossible to know how SMU's hazing problem compares with other similar schools, but here is what we do know. Based on data from the past 5 years, there have been about 2 hazing violations every year. And within that same time frame, 3 Greek organizations were kicked off campus for hazing violations. SMU removed Kappa Alpha Order in 2017 after paddling, servitude, and forcing new members to consume various food items and liquids until vomiting was induced, among other things. The university removed Pi Kappa Alpha next in 2018 after some members made pledges consume distasteful substances. And most recently, just last year, SMU suspended Kappa Alpha Theta for forced consumption of alcohol and exposing new members to activities that adversely affected their physical health. But let's be clear, this is likely far from the full picture.
We all know that hazing happens on campus, but we don't really know the extent of it. It's so taboo that I don't know if we ever will.
Anti-hazing advocates say it's nearly impossible to have an accurate understanding of just how widespread it is.
Formal reports of hazing are low because there are a lot of barriers to reporting.
Dr. Elizabeth Allen was a lead researcher on a 2008 study of more than 50 colleges and universities across the nation. Researchers interviewed hundreds of students and found that 95% of students who were aware they got hazed did not report it.
Students often fear that they'll be ostracized from the group or that there will be some kind of retaliation.
Hayden did not officially report her experience with hazing. Here's why.
You feel like you are powerless and that you don't have a voice. I think that there can be a lot of long-term damaging effects. Someone who's being hazed is not going to feel empowered to speak about it because they feel so minimized.
And even when students do report hazing, that still doesn't mean that the university will issue a violation to that organization.
It's a much more complicated issue than I think people realize.
Dean of Students Dr. Mindy Sutton says the majority of reports they receive are anonymous and can often be vague, making them really difficult to investigate.
An allegation may be one sentence, and then we get another a week later with one sentence about the same group.
I see what you're saying. So it's kind of like a web of reports.
That's a really good way to explain it, that it's kind of a web. Yeah.
How many groups are under investigation for hazing right now? One source tells us it's as many as 5. That's a number that SMU officials were unable to confirm, saying federal privacy laws prohibit the university from disclosing information to third parties regarding the status of student conduct matters that may be ongoing. In fact, SMU remained tight-lipped when asked about anything specific.
We really wouldn't discuss the specific. I won't speak specifically. I'm not going to be able to comment on specifics. I'm not going to be able to talk about specifics. I'm not going to speak to specifics.
While those answers can make it difficult for reporters to get information, it also means that the university takes anonymity seriously.
I'd encourage students to come forward so that we can help them and try to keep everyone as healthy and safe as possible.
But for too many, that's easier said than done.
All it takes is one person to be strong and to be that voice of change, but it does take a lot to be that person.